Being set straight over here. What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome back to Political Soul Food. We're gonna talk about the Gillette commercial. So let me just holler at y'all who are here. Miguel on Facebook, what's good? We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, IG, trying to bring the whole family in. And thanks for tuning in. It's a Friday night. I'm sure some of y'all could be on the dance floor, in the lounge, somewhere with friends, family, significant others. But if you're here with me, trying to build and sharpen our minds and expand our understanding of our society, thank you very much. Much love for that. It's much needed, much needed. So let me give people a chance to get up in here. Let me just bring up Facebook here so I can see the feed. If y'all here, holler at your boy. Let me bring in the Instagram crew. Let's bring them all in here. Let them know we here live. Alrighty. Cool. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Last night's talk was real, wasn't it? It was real. We're gonna move on from there. We're still in the same vein, but I gotta say, last night's convo was real. Let me see here. Let me bring up Facebook. Let me know if the mics are good for y'all here. Trying to make sure the sound is tight. Good. I got Facebook up here, and let me bring in the YouTube feed here. Yo, we got Ruler Fitz in. What's good, Ruler Fitz? Good to see you. Good to see you. Dr. Marshall, hello. Good Friday night. How's it going? Good to see y'all. I hope all of you recovered from last night's talk. It was exciting, interesting, and it was very revealing. Today we're gonna move on to the Gillette commercial and talk about that. I'm gonna play it here just in case some of you haven't seen it. It's really short, and then we're gonna talk about it. A few people kept asking me over and over, what do I think about it? And I was like, I gotta check it out. I knew it was on my radar, but I just didn't get a chance to talk about it because I was busy preparing to talk with my homeboy about R. Kelly and some other things. So I sat down, listened to it, watched it, and I guess I can see why there's an uproar and there's a big faction of America against it. And what I'm finding very interesting is how many liberals, or many on the left, are standing in support of masculinity, traditional masculinity. It's very interesting. I find that to be very, very interesting. Dominican Butterfly, welcome, welcome back. Good to see you. So, for those of you who are tuning in, who are here now, or who's going to come in later, we are talking about the Gillette commercial, the one on masculinity. I'm going to play it here just in case you haven't seen it. And looking at it, as they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That will be very good. But listening to it as well will be informative of what's going on. So let's jump to that right now. I just want to see who's here on the YouTube feed real fast. Let's go to YouTube, and so I can say hello to the family on YouTube. If you want to make some comments, just make some comments there. They should pop up for me to see. But if not, no, they should. They should. Okay, so YouTube is the newest addition. And as you may have observed throughout the last couple of weeks I've been having some complications, but that's because I've been adding things to the setup. Um, Look, it's Tiana's up in here. What's good? What's good? Good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good. So we're talking about a Gillette commercial on masculinity. A lot of people are upset. They want to boycott. What's going on? I'm well. Thanks a lot. I'm doing well. Appreciate that. Let's see what's good. So again, I'm going to play it. Let me know if hopefully you should be able to hear it well. And I just wanted to make sure I can pull up my feed here so that I can see whoever make a comment. I know we have somebody here on YouTube, so I want to make sure I can see their comments. Let's just go here. Okay. All right. So if you want to make comments, I know how to check for them. All right. So let me play this commercial because people are going crazy. People are going nuts on this commercial, and I want to show some of the I'm going to read some of the comments here on the Gillette's YouTube page. It's crazy. It's bananas. For real. The backlash to the conversation on masculinity is just very interesting. I think it's confirming.
Laugh it off.
Okay, so here we go. Here's the Gillette commercial. Let me know if I need to turn it up or not, or while it's playing.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual
Toxic
harassment.
masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says he's
And there
Seems like an internet connection. Hold on a second.
will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
Okay. I like it. I personally like it. I recommend that you see it, but listening to it, you can hear the message. The general message of this is that men, one, need to recognize, particularly those who feel that they are nice to women, need to recognize masculinity in all its forms and how we are complicit when we observe it happening, but ignore it. When we observe it among our youth, when we observe it on our jobs, when we observe it anywhere and everywhere in our families, and not say anything. Now, a lot of people is taking this as an attack on all men, saying that men are just evil, and that's not the case. I mean, let's look at what America does. Right now, we want to build a wall. Well, not we. Certain individuals want to build a wall to stop certain people from coming in because the main argument is because some of them might be a terrorist. Some of them are going to do some evil things and hurt people. Not all, some, but we are reacting to all of them. But we're going to build up this wall just in case 0.00001% of the people happen to be violent. Look at how America thinks about Muslims or Arabs. On a whole, they cast them as one group of terrorists, regardless if the Muslims are from different countries. They don't care. It's just one big bag of misfits. And it's funny. It got me thinking about this whole term snowflakes, because one of the main responses to this video is that it's making men, it's basically making all men look like they are meanies. And now we want to turn men into women. And listen to the masculinity in that, the sexism in that. So I don't think that's the case. I didn't say anything to people who already saw it because I needed to see, and then maybe it went somewhere, and I think it did went somewhere. It touched on some nerves. It's touched on some nerves that needed to be touched. So one thing I get is that it's saying that as a whole, men can be better. Why is it talking about men? Because men are, in particular, have established the cultural status quo. I mean, we can still hear that in the vestiges of the male pronouns, masculine pronouns, like he. When we speak about a group of people, boys and girls, or just girls, we go guys. It's embedded in our language. And if it's embedded in our language, masculine is also embedded in our consciousness. And if it's embedded in our consciousness, it's embedded in our culture. And if it's embedded in our culture, it's embedded in our actions, in our laws, and our social cues. Everything is revolving around that. So, as you can see, I love Starbucks, but I didn't leave my drink behind. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is that Gillette is asking us to put away the excuses, to step up and say, yo, listen, we have to look at ourselves. Guys need to start talking to other guys. This is some inside out work we have to do. We as a group need to take a stand. And I'm taking that stand. Now, some have asked me, well, why are you trying to take a stand on an agenda? Excuse me, on an agenda that's trying to take away your manhood. I'm like, well, it's not taking away my manhood. It's reminding me of my male privilege. Male privilege exists. And so it's hard to get through to anyone whose thinking is already beginning from a sexist mindset. Because honestly, the real issue is that we're not, Gillette, me, you, or whoever is trying to make a change. We're not trying to talk to people who are going to go, aha, I've been thinking about this myself for a long time. Thanks for filling in the gap. We're talking about people who actually believe that there should be a gender hierarchy, a sexual hierarchy. Okay? As Simone de Beauvoir said, in her book, there's a second sex. Females, women are the second sex. We got an issue. We can hear it in people's let's say justification of negligent behavior. Boys will be boys. Now, let's say I get that for actual boys. But now, what about men? We hear men will be men. This is crazy. So let's see what you all have to say so far real fast. Because they market towards men. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy for them for stepping up, Tiana. I mean, they're going to face a backlash. However, I think they can afford it, one. And two, I think that many more people will come up and support them. I don't even shave with a razor, but I might just bag a few and just for the cause. And I like their page and subscribe just for the cause. It's an appropriate response to the current climate. Absolutely, Tiana. I feel so as well. They don't have the power to take that away from individuals. Okay, I'm not sure, but you can maybe explain that one for me. But let's go. Ruler Fitz said, see, that's the problem. Masculinity is built on an idea that it can't be taken away or lost. Cough, cough. Christianity has also a part to play in sexual hierarchy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Christianity plays a huge role in reinforcing patriarchy. Obviously, God, a being that's supposed to be spiritual, takes the male pronoun, he. Yes. So it's just built in. Masculinity is patriarchy is just built in to our worldview from so many different directions. And there are secularists who actually, people who actually, think evolution is real. And I'm very much surprised. As someone who is supportive of evidence-based science and research, yeah, I support evolution. But it's really interesting to see even those who support evolution support a patriarchal view of the world. It's crazy. It's all around us. So we still have a long way to go. Tiana said I was talking about masculinity being taken away. Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Absolutely. I'm with you with that. So this is an issue. We got a tall order ahead of us, but we've come a long way because now we have institutions stepping up. Another issue that came out too is that, I think the call to action is that men, we can do a better job and showing boys what it really means to be a human being. Forget about a man, to be a human being. Boys are watching adults. Boys are watching just even teenagers who are just slightly older than them. And these teenagers, many of them are watching Marvel comic movies, trying to be like Superman or the Hulk or Batman, and thinking that is what it means to be a man. And now we have Donald Trump on the scene, who is reinforcing patriarchy in many ways, and who is evidence that patriarchy is very much present. And not only that, given that the support for Brett Kavanaugh was so large among women, believe it or not, many women, predominantly white women, supported him. So traditional masculinity and patriarchy and sexism, one might want to say it's internalized. It's not even just internalized, it's accepted, it's believed in. And that's the American Psychological Association guidelines report pointed out. Masculinity is an ideology. It's a belief system as well. And there are obviously different variations of his ideology, but it's real. It's a construct. All right. Now what I want to do very quickly is play a response to this video. And it's a YouTube video, podcaster Joe Rogan, and I'm surprised at his comments. So check this out. I'm surprised at his comments. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be too much, but he's a guy that has taken on conservatism, toe to toe, head to head, and the construct of masculinity, for me has really been a conservative element. But I'm learning more and more and more that I probably should call it more of a traditional feature of human culture, because there are liberals who actually stand in support for traditional masculinity. So check these comments out here, and we'll respond to some of these comments. Yeah, Joe Rogan. Fitz. Well, we're gonna do a sample. We're gonna do a sample of this and see what's going on here. You know. And then I want to go to some of the comments on the Gillette page. So let's see here. It's coming up now. I was so surprised. Oh my goodness. It was really
with
crazy.
this new Gillette commercial.
So
with
here we
this
go.
new Gillette.
Joe Rogan.
They so
everybody.
fast, man.
Yeah, they're trying to do that with this new Gillette commercial. You seen that Gillette commercial?
I heard about it, though. You can shave your buddy or something.
No. All these guys are really mad because it's like an anti-masculine Gillette commercial. It makes like every man look like a misogynist piece of shit. It's such a disturbing commercial. It's like over and over again, men doing douchey shit. Like, hey, bro, aren't you selling razors?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You changing the world with your shitty fucking advertiser-based philosophy? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Who fucking greenlit this?
I know.
If I was at Gillette, I'd be like, yo, guys, people get hair, they want to fucking shave it. It's not that complicated. You're not gonna fix. Imagine if you're a sexist, rapist piece of shit, and you see that Gillette commercial, like, damn, I gotta switch my game up.
yeah.
I've been too much of a dick. Like, does anybody think that Gillette commercials are somehow or another in any way, shape, or form gonna affect culture?
It's bad.
You're selling razors.
It's bad,
That's
bro.
it. It's just a razor.
I'd rather braid my fucking face hair than buy Gillette again.
Nobody wants to be lectured to. We're tired of that.
So sick of that.
Stop it. You don't have your shit together. Nobody has their shit together. And you telling people how to get their shit together in a fucking razor blade ad.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be racist. We know. Yeah, don't be a sexist. Yeah, we know. Most people aren't.
Yeah.
This, like, you got it like most people are. The video's like most people are. It's not most people are.
It's crazy.
That's a disproportionate amount of people that are.
That's what I hate about a lot of these ideologies.
So I'll stop here. So here's what my response is. And I'm very surprised to hear Joe Rogan's stance on this. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like satire or parody or something. But it turns out, from what I can see, that he stands by this position. First of all, the Gillette commercial is reminding us that traditional masculinity governs our culture. It dictates the values in our society. And it puts men here and women as a second sex. It's in our language. It's in the actual currency, the value system in terms of how much women are paid. It's in the homes. It's in our imaginations. It's everywhere. Unbelievable. And what the commercial is trying to do is call attention to this social construct, to the social construct of traditional masculinity. That's what it's doing, number one. So it's not saying that every man is a misogynist, that every man is sexist. I'm not offended by it. What it's saying is that sexism and misogyny is omnipresent, and it goes on so often that it is basically dictating people's experiences. It's forcing people to deal with an unfair scenario. It's forcing women to just deal with things, just to walk down the street and just deal with it like as if it's just a part of the natural environment. Right? And so that's what it's calling attention to. So when you see the commercial, it's not showing every man acting like a douche. It's showing how the guys who are probably really cool people are just blind to toxic masculinity and just letting it go on. And many are breeding it. That's what it's doing. It is saying that we are complicit with it. That's how a status quo works. You don't need every person to be a perpetrator of any of any bad value system. All you need is just enough people, the majority people, to just turn a blind eye to it, and that's the problem. That is the problem, and much of the issues that we have now were 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 supported by institutions, were implanted into our society by institutions, by advertising companies, by schools, by the courts, by clothing stores. So it's only right that we counteract that with an equal amount of force. Okay? Institutions beginning to step up and say, hey, our products are not going to perpetuate an image of a man, because a man shaving and appealing to women in the house, or a man shaving, then walking outside into the street and all the women turning and looking at him and he's jumping in his big truck, or, any one of these commercials that pretty much makes it seem like, shaving is a part of the ritual of being a man of the house. And that's really what it comes down to it. And what Gillette is trying to do, I believe, one of the things it's trying to do is dispel or disconnect its product, its brand from those imaginations of masculinity. And it's doing this intentionally. And a lot of people are upset. They are upset that their masculinity or their toxic masculinity is being called out. So let me take some comments here. Let's see what's going on here. Because the traditional masculine encourages intellectual rigidity and laziness. Yeah, it encourages it, but it doesn't want to deal with it now. Thanks, Fitz. Wayne says, women make more money on a middle income level compared to men. So stop giving into this bull crap. Just like in the hood, 60,000 residents live in a ghetto, but 6,000 people are the cause of the problem. So I'm trying to understand that, Wayne. Women make more money on the middle income level compared to men. So stop giving into this bullcrap. Just like in the hood, 60,000 residents live in a ghetto, but 6,000 people are the cause of the problem. All right, you might have to explain that for me. That first part of your sentence, or comment. Then Wayne says, we call the ghetto a ghetto because of the 10% who is negative and the media use to portray us bad. That I definitely understand that, absolutely, and that's the game, particularly when it comes to race issues, so yeah. So the first part of it, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm really interested in that first part, but so at the end of the day, I stand by the Gillette commercial. And I think it's going to be hopefully it's one of many more that are beginning to stand up to the status quo. I think that we need more people to start speaking up. We need more institutions to start stepping up and acknowledging that there is such a thing as toxic masculinity. The problem is that men are so comfortable in the male privilege that any comment about masculinity, any threat about masculinity throws them into a frenzy. It throws us into a frenzy. And that's obviously showing that we feel like we have something to lose. We feel like we have something to lose as a whole. And if you feel like you have something to lose, then you're threatened. You're threatened by a commercial. His commercial also shows the sensitivity of men. Absolutely. Are you talking about the Gillette commercial, Fitz? We got Kyle in the house. What's good, Kyle? Kyle on Facebook. Women get told about themselves every other commercial every day. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, almost every... I don't want to generalize too much. But much of women's looks and the way we expect them to look match up with the male's imagination. The male's imagination have have has shaped how women's supposed to perform. And a lot of people don't like that now. A lot of people don't like that. Wayne says, "Nah, I am not giving into the bull crap. We are not losing anything. People are so sensitive. Absolutely. Well, also I would say people are invested. I think you have a lot of men who are, let's say, if you want to say sensitive and insensitive, but I think that many of these guys are invested in a certain norm, and they are protesting this change. Just for many men, just leave things the way they are. There's nothing wrong. They like R. Kelly. I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with catcalling. I don't see nothing wrong with telling women they're being too emotional. I didn't see anything wrong when the founding fathers said women shouldn't have education. I don't see anything wrong with the suppression of education and the suppression of the vote for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, and how that translated into a disadvantage in the present. I don't see anything wrong with that. Why are women talking about this feminism stuff? That's where men are now. That's where we are now. Just like racists. Why do black people got to keep talking about slavery and about inequality? It's gone. And these are the same people who talk about watching systemic issues, small shifts in geopolitics, making decisions based on long-term consequences. But when it comes to someone else's interest or the interests of groups they want to put down, they just want to act like the present was just created a second ago, and that there are no systemic context to factor in, as if we snapped our fingers and there it is. It's like, well, Wayne says, where slavery is gone, but I don't see slavery as being gone. This slavery itself is gone, yes, but the effects of slavery has been perpetuated. The same way any colonizing country has maintained influence. When we look, let's say, at Africa, you can tell which European nation has influence over Africa or had influence over Africa by looking at the languages. There's certain, the Berlin Conference in the late 1800s, when European countries said, we're going to divide up Africa, and you get this spot, I get this spot, you get that, and they sort of tried to be gentlemen in arranging the spoils of Africa. They imported their culture and language, and we can see that imprint. And we can still see that the I wouldn't even say vestiges, the vestiges, because not like they stopped. We can still see the perpetual influences in these countries. So while some people like to say, well, slavery is gone, let's move forward, but the consequences of slavery are still with us. Going back, trying to stay focused on this Gillette commercial is trying to tell us that there are systemic effects of masculinity, and they're still with us. And what we're seeing now that men are invested in the status quo, in the traditional status quo of masculinity, and you have men who would like to see themselves as being fair to women, as being a person who supports equality and social justice, but can't wrap their head around the hierarchy of gender and sexuality. I don't even need to go through some of these comments, but I'll read just a couple of comments. Just what the heck. Let's go back to this Gillette commercial, and I'll just pick some that really lets us know where guys are, with this. Let me see if I can find one that I really was like, oh my goodness. Here's one. The boys watching this today will be my wife's boyfriends tomorrow. I forgot what that was, but hold on. Let me skip that one. Oh, I can't find them because more comments just came up. More and more. The comments are just unbelievable. So basically, most of the comments are dislikes. People don't like this. There are a few people who are appreciating this. Now Gillette is called Marxist. People are saying they're going to give up Gillette now. They want to boycott now. They're saying never buy it again. As a black guy, I've been hearing this since I was born. What's new? I don't shave anyways. Just think it's messed up how they doing all men. They're not doing all men in any way. This is what's crazy. All men are not. All men, I'm not offended. So first of all, there's a contradiction in that statement. I actually support them. I don't believe all men are like that. But I do feel that a lot more men need to step up and challenge guys who execute misogyny near me and around me. Ruler Fitz says trauma of slavery also mixed with the teacher of a white patriarchal system have really warped a sense of what a man should be and what a woman is allowed to be. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a toxic combination of European centricism and patriarchy and slavery. Because within all of those things, we have 3 forms of oppression here. And that is very potent. And it's going to be hard. And so it's a combination. Like in chemistry, you can have different substances, but when they combine, those substances lose their former individual properties and combine to make a new substance and form new and probably in many cases more powerful properties. And so if you combine a belief in one's ethnic identity, that it's the pinnacle of all other identities, if you combine that within the group with the belief that men within that group are at the pinnacle of that ideal system, of that ethnicity, then that gives them an excuse to look at other people who are so far away from that status as being divinely